Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to Celeb Source, your source for celeb news. Now today we have, hey yo man, we got, look, we looking at some court documents today, man. Yeah, we going legal today, man. You know what I'm saying? I done got a hold of the legal documents with the Diddy and Rodney Jones and the Diddy and the Cassie situation, man. I don't know which one you want, man. So I'm gonna give you the Rodney Jones and the Diddy joint, man. Depending on how that video goes, and we'll read the other one, I guess. I mean, how this video goes, then we'll figure out the other. Hey, look, never mind all that. All right, listen, man. I had to pull it up on my Adobe, okay? My Adobe, all right? Now, this joint right here on Adobe, for me, it's like 73 pages. Now, don't go checking the time and stuff like that, man. This joint is action-packed, unfortunately, okay? According to what we have here, man, the documents say that, Rodney Jones, okay, versus Sean Combs, Justin Dior Combs, Ethiopia Habitarium, Lucian Grange, Christina Coram, Chalice Records Studios, Love Recorders, Motown Records, everybody on that side. We're going to read through this joint. Now, we're not going to go painstakingly through every single one, right? But for each statement, they are like numbers, okay? So, Source, just to make it as simple as possible, I'm going to send you the documents and stuff like that. You'll be able to correspond the number to where we at, okay? So, just so you know, right, here's your cast of characters, okay? You got the plaintiff, Rodney Jones, all right? He's an American music artist. Music producer. Mr. Jones resides in the state of New York and California, okay? Then, of course, you got the defendant, Sean Combs, a.k.a. the DìDDY. You know what I mean? Like the DìDDY. Every time when I say that, I see him with his hands on his diddle. Not that I know what that looks like, but I can only imagine what it looks like. That's how I see it. Don't judge me, okay? It says defendant Sean Combs, a rapper and a record executive popularly known by his stage names Puff Daddy, okay? Puffy, all right? P. Diddy, Brother Love. Right? It says Mr. Combs came to fame in the early 1990s with his record label Bad Boy Records. I'm at number 6, Source. He rose to prominence in the music entertainment industry over the decades, etc., etc. You know who he is. I don't even got to go over that. Okay? He resides at, it gave his address and everything. Okay? In Beverly Hills. The other defendant is Justin Dior Combs, all right, son of Mr. Combs and Misa Hilton. Jay Combs was born on December 30th, 1993. He's a producer, actor. He appeared on shows like Catfish. That's funny. That's funny, isn't it? While now Hip Hop Squares, it says that he gave his address. They gave all their addresses and everything, man. This is scary. Defendant Lucian Grange, although I think he's been pulled or redacted from the situation. He somehow weaseled his way out of it. Let me rephrase that. He was taken out of it. How about that? He was taken out of it, okay? Strike weaseled his way out of it from the record, y'all, okay? All my legal folks. Defendant Ethiopia Habitarium. She's the former CEO and defendant of Motown Records. I feel like this video is going to be long. This video might be long. Don't check the time. I'm afraid it might be long, okay? So, Source, if you don't get this out today, I get it. But it's coming out today, okay? The day that you got it, that's the day that came out, all right? So it gave her address. Dang, give everybody's address is scary. Defendant Christina Coram, she's the chief of staff to Sean Combs, okay? It got the Chalice Recording Studios. That's the place where a lot of the stuff may have went down, okay? Popular recording studio located in L.A. You got Motown Records, record label with the principal place of business in L.A., okay? And Ethiopia was the chairman, all right? You got the defendant Universal Music Group, which is a record label in Cali. And Lucian Grange is the chairman, but his name was redacted. He done got himself out of it, okay? Defendant Love Records is another record label. Look at all these characters involved in this story, okay? And Love Records was founded by Sean Combs. You got Combs Enterprise businesses and investments that include music, fashion, fragrance, beverage, marketing, film, television, media property. You know what's crazy? I don't think Puff ever hit the billionaire status, but he had all of these things. You need to tell me if I have marketing, beverage, fragrance, film, television, media properties, I only have 800 million net worth. That's crazy. And then Combs Global. I like that logo. Okay. Then you got, of course, Rodney Jones. It says Rodney, I'm at number 16 here. Rodney, Lil Rod Jones. He's from the Chicago, born and raised in Chicago. Second oldest son, fourth child out of 9. Okay. He started playing instruments at the age of 5. He began playing drums in church. And at the age of 13, he picked up playing the guitar. From 13 to present day, he taught himself to play over 13 different instruments. Wow. Okay, so if you can play over 13 different instruments, you got some real skill. You got some ill talent. You're special. Okay. And they had a picture with him and everybody else redacted. Their images. What's the word redacted mean? Now I gotta look it up. Okay. I'm assuming it means taken out. Let me see. Redacted. What's that mean? Redacted means to obscure, remove text from the document prior to publication. Now, a lot of information might be redacted here, but some of the stuff that you was looking for is in here. It's crazy. Okay. Mr. Jones is considered a musical prodigy. I'm at 18. His talents have led him to produce and create commercial marketplace for music that has been recorded by some of the most prestigious, highly acclaimed artists in the music industry. Okay, throughout the duration of his career, he worked Southside Chicago music scene. He played with legendary greats like the Georgia Mass Choir, Donald Lawrence, Clark Sisters. So this is all just kind of building the background of who these people are and whether they are people that have been in the game, in the industry or whatnot. Okay, it says on or about August 2022, Mr. Jones received a call from Mr. Combs requesting that he produce several songs on a rhythm and blues album titled The Love Album, Off the Grid. Off the Grid, of course, right? Okay, so he agreed, and his life has been detrimentally impacted ever since, okay? So here is the summary of events. I'm around number 22, Celebs, okay? It says from September 2022 to November 2023. This all took place in the span of approximately a year? Gosh. This thing is long, and it's only 1 year. What a horrible, tumultuous year. Let's get to it. Mr. Jones produced 9 songs on Mr. Combs' Love album. Mr. Jones lived with Mr. Combs for months at a time, spending holidays, birthdays, and missing major family events. Ew, he lived with the man. This is going to be hairy. Mr. Jones resided at Mr. Combs' residence in LA, okay? California, New York City, Miami. Mr. Jones also spent several weeks on a yacht rented by Mr. Combs in the Virgin Islands, okay? These are some of the places where the antics go down. According to him, allegedly. Throughout this time, Mr. Jones witnessed, experienced, and endured many things that went far beyond his role as a producer on the Love album, okay? Now, the claims raised in this complaint have been corroborated, okay? So it ain't just him. It's been corroborated through witness statements, video and audio recordings, and images that Rodney Jones has in his possession, okay? So he's not just making this up out of thin air. Like, this stuff is documented, okay? Mr. Combs required Mr. Jones to record him constantly. On several occasions, Mr. Combs took Mr. Jones' cell phone and began recording himself. As a result, Mr. Jones has secured hundreds, not dozens, hundreds. That's like either hundreds is like really like 200 or more. And that's crazy, okay? But I guess, I hate to use the word, but if you're a narcissist, then you will probably have about 200 images of yourself. Let me ask you a question in the comments below while you just listening. How many pictures of yourself do you have in your phone, would you say? Okay? I'm just curious, okay? Because for me, myself, I only have I probably have like no more than freaking 20. I probably don't even have, maybe, I wonder how many pictures I have of myself. Oh gosh, here we go with the nonsense. The freaking squirrel is running across the street and I gotta go and chase it. Hold on. Alright, I checked. I got pictures of myself. I got 33 pictures of myself, just by myself. Of course, you got pictures with other people like that. I don't count that because I don't really, what I'm saying. But pictures of myself, I got 33 pictures, okay? And a lot of them are like the same picture because I was trying to, for Uber, but Uber was like, your image is too dark. And I'm like, I'm chocolate colored. I like, me and the Snickers are the same color. So how the hell am I too dark? I was trying to, this is a couple years ago, I was trying to go for Uber before the pandemic because I was trying to make some extra papers, but it was ridiculous. Uber telling me, oh, you too black. And my bad. How many pictures you got? Post it. Well, don't even post. Just post your approximate number if it's crazy. Okay. 33. Beat that. Where we at over here? I'm at number 27. Mr. Combs required Jones to record him constantly. Now I'm at 28. Mr. Jones has secured irrefutable evidence. Okay, this is number 28. The court documents state, Mr. Jones has secured irrefutable evidence of the acquisition, use, and distribution of ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and mushrooms, okay? The displaying and distribution of unregistered legal firearms. So he's got evidence of the drugs. He's got evidence of the displaying of firearms, the distribution of unregistered illegal firearms. It says Mr. Combs provided laced alcoholic beverages to minors and sex workers at his homes in California, New York, Virgin Islands, and Florida. Okay. D says Mr. Combs, Chief of Staff Christina Coram, KK. We'll just call her KK for now. Instructed her staff to retrieve drugs so she could provide it to Mr. Combs for his consumption. Christian Combs drugging and sexually assaulting a woman. There's evidence of that, according to this. He's got F. Mr. Combs detailed how he planned to leverage his relationship with Bishop T.D. Jakes to soften the impact of his public image on Cassie Ventura's lawsuit. G. Young Miami's cousin or assistant assaulting Mr. Jones. H. Actor Cuba Gooding Jr. sexually harassing and assaulting Mr. Jones. This is what the court documents read. I'm not saying this, okay? This is his alleged court. This is the court documents, okay? Rapper, okay, this rapper's name is redacted, but it says rapper 3. They got a little thumbnail here. 3. Let me go scroll all the way down to the bottom. Let's see who 3 is. Come on now. Who the redacted people? You can't find it, can you? No, I can't find it. What the hell, man? I mean, if you're going to redact somebody, like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, whatever. All right, so we're going to go back up. Okay, we're going to go back up. If we could ever get to it. All right. Oh, this is going to be a long video. I feel it already. All right, listen, man. I apologize, Source, but you know what I'm saying? It says here, the rapper who's redacted on Mr. Combs' yacht consorted with underage girls, sex workers, and another redacted name, R&B singer, in Mr. Combs' Los Angeles home consorting with underage girls and sex workers. Okay. Now there was shooting at Chalice Recording Studios. I'm around number 29 now. On or about September 12th, 2022, Mr. Combs held a writers and producers camp at Chalice Recording Studio. At the camp was Mr. Combs, his son Justin Combs, and Justin's friend named G. All right. Mr. G is a 30-year-old tall African-American male, okay? In addition to these individuals, other musicians were present at the camp. The writer has spoken to several musicians who attended the camp, okay? One evening during this camp, Mr. Combs, J. Combs, and G were in a heated conversation, all right? That conversation was moved out of the studio and into a restroom adjacent to where Mr. Jones was sitting, okay? Mr. Jones was approximately 2 feet away from the bathroom when gunshots rang out. Mr. Jones recalls hearing multiple shots. Mr. Jones immediately went into a state of shock. He feared that he would be shot next. Mr. Jones genuinely believed that he would be shot through the door due to how close he was. After the shooting ended, a crowd gathered around the restroom, right? When the door finally opens up, Mr. Combs, right? That's the diddler, and J. Combs exited. G, the tall African dude, was lying on the was he African? I forgot already. Yeah, I think he was African. An African-American dude. An African-American male, okay? 30-year-old, remember? Come on, man, you forgot already? G was lying on the restroom floor in a fetal position, holding his stomach and bleeding out of his leg and hip area. Everyone stood around looking on G, frustrated by the lack of aid to G. Mr. Jones dropped everything, ran to G, and immediately began placing pressure on his gunshot wound to his stomach. As he was applying pressure on his stomach, what's my time looking like over here? Let me see what my time is. 14. All right. As he was applying pressure on his stomach, Mr. Jones realized that G was gushing blood from another area near his leg/hip. He decided to lift G and place him to sit on the toilet. Mr. Jones asked the crowd to call for ambulance. You know why I believe this? Because he said that he was frustrated at the fact that everybody, did it say he? It said that everybody was frustrated at the fact that nobody wanted to help. That's the thing that It said everyone looked around upon G, frustrated by the lack of aid. So, you know, I that's a small little detail. When I listen to a story and I hear these real human, small, tiny details, like, you know what I'm saying, like, oh, and bro had on socks that had yellow stripes on it. Then it's like, okay, I believe it, because he remembered the socks and the yellow stripes. Like, those are the little details, like when you're trying to process and you're staring at something off the side of you, and then you looking at the socks with the yellow stripes. Am I making sense? You're like, can you please keep reading? My bad. He decided to lift G, place him on to sit on the toilet. Okay, so now, so Rodney Jones lifts him up and places him on a seat on the toilet, right? Mr. Jones asked the crowd to call for ambulance. Mr. Jones lifted, you know, I'm doing the gestures with my hand, right? Like I'm acting like I'm actually lifting somebody. That's how I read. Mr. Jones lifted G and brought him to the ambulance, right? At the studio's front. At this time, Mr. Combs and Justin disappeared to another part of the studio. Okay? Mr. Combs gave strict instructions to inform the police that he had... Keys said he ain't falling for it. Listen, Keys, this is a legal analysis we're doing here. Mr. Combs gave strict instructions to inform the police that he had nothing to do with the shooting. Okay? So you tell everybody, yo, I ain't had nothing to do with it. Y'all make sure y'all tell everybody I ain't had nothing to do with it. Well, if only you and your son came out the bathroom and you're saying you didn't have it, are you saying your son did it? I don't know. Let me keep it going, because maybe it'll, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Combs gave strict instructions to inform the police that he had nothing to do with the shooting, self-preservation. He also forced Mr. Jones, Rodney Jones, the person with the, doing the lawsuit, to lie to the police by telling them that G was shot standing outside the studio by a drive-by assailant. Okay, and then there's a picture here that shows CBS News man shot outside party at Hollywood recording studio. Okay. Mr. Jones, and that's crazy, right? Because that's what the newspaper said. So if you read the news, you'd be like, oh, so he was shot outside the thing. But Mr. Jones is saying, no, that joint happened in the studio. Mr. Jones has several corroborating witnesses who spoke with this writer anonymously due to fear of retaliation from Mr. Combs. They have agreed to speak publicly when subpoenaed. So there are people that will corroborate the story. They don't want to talk about it, but they don't mind saying something if they are subpoenaed. That's a big deal. Mr. Jones has the same clothing he wore that day and believes it may still have the stains and DNA of G's blood. The following are screenshots of the aftermath. I'm around number 47 source. Now, you might have to blur out some of the images. So if you could blur it out, that's cool. You know what I mean? Or just like blur it, like not like with pixel, whatever, however you do it. You know what I mean? I don't want to tell you how to do your thing. You know what I'm saying? But if you just blur it out, but this is around 47. Okay. Remember he said that he picked him up and sat him on the seat, right? Now this happened in the bathroom, he's saying. But the DìDDY is saying, yo, just say that it happened outside the studio. If it happened outside the studio, you wouldn't bring him all the way into the bathroom, okay? Clearly, G was not shot outside the studio as Mr. Combs instructed his team to report to law enforcement. Mr. Combs and defendants LR, MR, UMG, and CRS provided private security for the writers' camp at defendant CRS, okay? The security was porous and lackluster at best, so they gave poor security. The fact that Mr. Combs and J. Combs were allowed to enter CRS with guns, and those guns were not confiscated by security, is a clear breach of duty by Mr. Combs, defendants LR, MR, UMG to protect Mr. Jones and the other at his writers' camp. As a result of this shooting, Mr. Jones is severely traumatized. Mr. Jones now suffers PTSD, severe anxiety, depression, and insomnia. So the man can't sleep. He is depressed. He has anxiety. You know what I mean? 4th of July is a nightmare. You know what it is. Okay? I'm around 53 now. It says, Mr. Jones was harassed in a, you know what I'm saying, sexual manner and assaulted by Mr. Combs. Number 53 says this. It goes, throughout his time living with Mr. Combs, Mr. Jones was the victim of constant, unsolicited, I don't want it, and unauthorized, please don't do it, groping and touching of his anus by Mr. Combs. You know, when they say anus, I don't think gluteus maximus. I think the actual hole, which is crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? These events took place in LA, New York, Florida, and the United States, Virgin Islands. In addition to the unsolicited and unauthorized touching, Mr. Jones was forced by Mr. Combs to work in Mr. Combs' bathroom as Mr. Combs walked around naked and showered in a clear glass enclosure. You mean to tell me I got to produce this beat with your diddle just dangling all over the place, leaning on my shoulder, talking about, yeah, I like that beat? The diddle is on my shoulder, bruh. I can't concentrate. I can't make a beat like this. These events took place in LA, New York, Florida, and so this happened multiple times. He used to walk around butt naked. You can't walk around with clothes on. What is the problem? In addition to the unsolicited and unauthorized touching, Mr. Jones was forced by Mr. Combs to work in Mr. Combs'... Oh, yeah, I already said that. As a heterosexual... This is 56. As a heterosexual Christian man, Mr. Jones was uncomfortable with Mr. Combs' advances and expressed his discomfort to Mr. Combs' chief of staff, Christina Coram. Christina Coram responded to Mr. Jones' complaint and said, Sean will be Sean. Sean will be Sean? You mean Sean is showing his diddle? Let me keep it going. KK also attempted to downplay Mr. Combs' groping of Mr. Jones' anus and genitals as friendly horseplay. This is horseplay. Just look. So what? He grabbed your anus. You know what I'm saying? He clutched your anus. It's just horseplay. As friendly horseplay. Stating that those acts were Mr. Combs' way of showing that he likes you. Showing that he likes you. She's talking about the diddler like he's an animal. Like, that's what you say about animals. Like, oh, it just likes you. That's why it keeps nudging its nose by your crotch. Where are we at? 59. Despite these assurances on several occasions, when Mr. Combs began to undress and walk around his house naked, KK would say, okay, I'm leaving now. And she would disappear. So she knew the name of the game. According to these court documents, she knew when them drawers came down, it was time to go. Okay, I'm leaving now. That's what it says. 60. KK's hypocrisy is breathtaking at best or enabling at worst. Mr. Jones believes that KK aided and abetted Mr. Combs' sexual assault of him and was working with Combs to groom him into accepting a homosexual relationship. Through these sexually deviant acts, one would say Mr. Combs has a pattern and practice of engaging in such nefarious activity. This ongoing conduct shows that Mr. Combs cannot be rehabilitated. They're saying he is egregious. He cannot be helped. He cannot be fixed. That's what they're saying. Let me keep it going. Mr. Combs attempted to groom Mr. Jones and engaging the diddler, whatever. Let me just keep reading. 63. Mr. Combs was aware that Mr. Jones looked up to and idolized. Wait a minute. Let me reread this. The diddler was aware that Mr. Jones looked up to and idolized music producer Stephen Aaron Jordan. You idolize Stevie J, bro? I gotta take a drink. It's water, don't worry. Okay. Stevie J is American DJ record producer. Did Stevie J write this? He looked up to? Stevie J is an American DJ record producer and television personality. Stevie J was part of Bad Boy Records production team, The Hitmen. The Hitmen. The Hitmen. Yo, stop, man. Come on. You're always joking around. Can I finish reading this? You're like, who you talking to? I'm talking to you, the listener. The Hitman. Okay, let me keep it going. In 1997, Stevie J won a Grammy Award for his work on Puff Daddy's debut album. Throughout the late 1990s, Stevie J produced for several artists, including Mariah Carey, Tevin Campbell, The Notorious B.I.G., 112, Jodeci, Faith Evans, Jay-Z, and Eve. Stevie J was one of the producers on the Love album. Mr. Combs used access to Stevie J and his knowledge of Mr. Jones's admiration of Stevie J to groom and entice Mr. Jones to engage in homosexuality. Mr. Combs went so far as to share a video of Stevie J anally penetrating a Caucasian male without a kaput. You know what a kaput is? That's right, I'm teaching you Creole right now. Mr. Combs went so far as to share a video of Stevie J anally penetrating a Caucasian male without a kaput. I hope to God you don't have children listening to this, because this is gonna get hairy. This was done to ease Mr. Jones's anxiety concerning homosexuality. According to Mr. Combs, this is normal practice in the music industry. Look, even Stevie J is doing it. So, Mr. Jones is saying that in order to get him used to homosexuality, he started showing him videos, essentially, right? Let me just ease you in by showing you videos and saying, hey, look, everybody's doing this, joint. Your favorite people are doing it. Even Stevie J is doing it. Mr. Combs informed Mr. Jones that he engaged in intercourse with rapper Blank, an R&B singer Blank, and Stevie J. There's a poor rapper's name. Some poor rapper's name has been redacted here. Okay, you like who is the rapper? We might find out. Hold on. Mr. Combs promised to make sure that Mr. Jones wins Producer of the Year at the Grammys if he engaged in homosexuality. Okay, so that's the lure, that's the bait, that's the promise. You're gonna win a Grammy if you let me have sex. If you engage in homosexual behavior, you will win a Grammy. That's what it says in this legal document, number 72. Okay? And then it goes, this is where it gets really crazy. This is where it gets horrible. It's 73. The following are screenshots of the video of Stevie J anally penetrating a Caucasian male that Mr. Combs provided to Mr. Jones. And then there's the damn pictures. Oh my gosh. Someone please shoot us all. On Thanksgiving Day 2022. Thanksgiving Day, a day where we're celebrating when the Pilgrims joined together with the natives and they shared a wonderful Thanksgiving feast. And then the Pilgrims were invited to return, right, to their home and bring back some of their friends so that they could all enjoy American soil together. Okay. On that day, 2022, Mr. Jones was in Mr. Combs' house. That's messed up. When you was enjoying Thanksgiving dinner, poor Mr. Jones was in Puffy's house in Miami. Young Miami and her female cousins are also present. This poor man must have been in tears that year. Mr. Combs was intoxicated, never a good thing, and offered cocaine to Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones, this is the legal document. So I guess you could say it's alleged. I don't know, right? This is all the legal document. I'm just reading legal documents. I'm just reading a legal document. Mr. Jones rejected him and proceeded to walk to the restroom. While using the restroom, Young Miami's cousin burst into the bathroom and began groping Mr. Jones. Whoa, hey, whoa! Mr. Jones believes that Mr. Combs sent her in there to sexually assault. Bruh, okay? As she entered the bathroom, she dropped to her knees, and began performing fellatio, okay, on Mr. Jones' exposed genitalia, okay? You know, I'm doing a lot of reading here. I'm doing a lot of reading, and it's not my writing, so please don't judge me, okay? I'm through with the judgment. You know, I really don't care, okay? Because I really don't, you know what I'm saying? I barely have any dignity. Because, you know, I'm a teacher. As she entered the bathroom, she dropped to her knees, began performing oral sex on Mr. Jones' exposed penis. Mr. Jones pushed her away and exited the bathroom. No, please stop. And then he ran, right? Young Miami's cousin did not accept her rejection. Ooh, I can't stand those kind of women. As she proceeded to follow Mr. Jones out of the bathroom. Now she's chasing me. I'm sorry, when I'm reading it, I got to put myself in the character, but no pause, right? No diddy, no diddle, okay? Young Miami's cousin did not accept Mr. Jones's rejection. I can't stand people that can't take no for an answer, man. First of all, let me just throw this out here. Sidebar, okay? You tune into Celeb Source, you know what it is. Hit the like button if you appreciate the content, okay? When somebody tells you no, please take no for a damn answer. No means back the F up, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man, it's done. And don't be like, no, yes, but no, but okay, keep going, but no, but yes, but keep going, but no, but please do it again, put it back in. No, not that kind of no. Please, right? No, you know what Jesus said? Jesus said, let your yay be yay, let your nay be nay. If it's yes, it's yes. If it's no, it's no. But don't do this wishy-washy back and forth thing. If it's wishy-washy, fellas, just take it as a no. It's probably better that way. It is better that way. If I get in trouble. Where am I at? 78. Okay. Young Miami's cousin did not accept Mr. Jones' rejection as she proceeded to follow Mr. Jones out of the bathroom. She started undressing and attempted to straddle him and have sex with him in the presence of Mr. Combs and his staff. I can't do it with all these people in the room. I don't know. I never can. With all the people in the room, my diddle is no. It's like I'm not one for, because like what you know what Dave Chappelle said? He said my dingling is the only star of the show. I can't be doing it with all these people in the room. Okay, you trying to get on top of somebody, and then there's people here. Nah, man, I like to. This is like, forget, my bad. I'm at 78. Young Miami's cousin did not accept Mr. Jones' rejection as she proceeded to follow Mr. Jones out the bathroom. She started undressing, attempted to straddle him, and have sex with him in the presence of Mr. Combs and his staff. Once again, Mr. Jones pushed her off, right? Because those kind of women are kind of scary. Yeah, whoa! You know what I'm saying? You're doing too much. The following are images of a video of Young Miami, her cousin, Mr. Jones, and Mr. Combs. So you can see the pictures right there. You see the picture right there. Oh, let me see the cousin. Let me see Miss I can't keep my hands to myself. Okay? There go the cousin. They go, yeah. My bad. I ain't mean to say it like that. I'm just saying, yeah, I can't stand women like that. Okay? 81. Throughout his time, Mr. Combs, Mr. Jones was transported to New York, Cali, Virgin Islands. During that time, Mr. Jones was forced to solicit sex workers and perform sex acts to the pleasure of Mr. Combs. Okay, so it sounds like to perform sex acts to the pleasure of it. On or about February 4th. So now that was Thanksgiving. Okay, now so Mr. Jones clearly didn't forget that. On February 4th, now Mr. Combs forced Mr. Jones to bring prostitutes and sex workers back to his home in Miami, Florida. All right. Where we at over here? And then there's pictures. You can see the pictures. I'm around 83 source. So zoom in on that picture. 83 sex workers that Mr. Combs forced Mr. Jones to bring back to his home. Okay. On or about February 2nd, 2023, Mr. Jones believes Mr. Combs drugged him. Okay. Mr. Jones recalls waking up naked, dizzy, and confused. He was in a bed with two sex workers and Mr. Combs. All right. Where we at over here? He also recalls aimlessly wandering around the house with no clothes on. On another occasion in Miami, Florida, on Thanksgiving night of 2022, Mr. Combs asked Mr. Jones and DeForest Taylor to enter the studio bathroom. He asked them for $100 bill because he wanted them to do cocaine with him. Mr. Jones was scared, but luckily he didn't have a $100 bill. It's the first time not having $100 is good luck. So Mr. Combs waited a little later to do coke with Young Miami. Later that evening, he required Mr. Jones to solicit workers from the booby trap on the river in Miami. Mr. Jones did so, and Mr. Combs forced him to engage in unsolicited acts with these workers. So, sex workers, booby trap, you know what it is. We ain't shocked, okay? What's my time looking like, man? Because this is crazy. 32. I don't know. This got to be a two-part? This might have to be a two-parter. As part of Mr. Jones's sex worker recruitment tools, Mr. Combs provided Mr. Jones with an exclusive bad boy baseball cap. Are you listening to this? Look, because you're a good recruit, here's a bad boy baseball cap. It required him to wear it to the booby trap on the river as a signal to any sex worker he approached that Mr. Combs was in town and had sent Mr. Jones to recruit them. Wow. So that was the call. The call is that when he steps into the room, he wears his baseball cap. And that signals to the workers at booby trap that Puff's in town and they're looking for recruits. Okay? This is crazy stuff right here, man. 90. Mr. Jones had no desire to visit booby trap on the river. Mr. Jones had no desire to solicit sex workers from the booby trap on the river. Mr. Combs used his power and influence to intimidate and force Rodney Jones into soliciting sex workers from the booby trap on the river. As detailed below, Mr. Combs used many tactics to maintain dominion and control of Mr. Jones. Apparently, these workers were accustomed to servicing Puffy and would know that he's in town by the sight of the bad boy's baseball cap. The following are Instagram profiles of two of the sex workers that Mr. Combs required Mr. Jones to solicit and have relations with at his home in Miami. So, these are the two workers. You're looking at the images right here, okay? Mr. Jones had no desire to solicit and or have relations with the individuals in the previous photograph, so I'm around 92, 93. Mr. Combs used his power and influence to intimidate and force Mr. Combs into soliciting and sleeping with these women. The following is the phone number of another sex worker that Mr. Combs required Mr. Jones to solicit and perform sex acts. So this guy has all of the receipts. Like, he ain't even playing with it, okay? Now, I know that DJ academics, folks be trying to discredit this Mr. Tyrone Blackburn, right? But, I mean, the receipt game here is stellar. I mean, there's pics. I'm looking at the pictures of everything, okay? It says, Mr. Jones had no desire to solicit or to have sex with the individual in the previous paragraphs. Mr. Combs used power, influence to intimidate and force Mr. Jones into soliciting and sleeping with the individuals above. Mr. Combs used many tactics to maintain dominion and control over Mr. Jones. He promised him a Grammy for Producer of the Year, so he brings that back up. He offered him $250,000 to purchase all the instruments that he wanted. So here, you can get whatever you need. So, you know what I'm saying? He promised him ownership of $20 million of his $20 million property. So now you get $20 million, you get a Grammy, all the equipment is yours, one-star island in Miami, Florida. He promised access to record label executives like Lucian Grange and Ethiopia Habitamarium. Okay. Mr. Combs would often switch up his approach. He would go from promising Mr. Jones the world to threatening Mr. Jones with physical harm. So notice the back and forth, which to me sounds like classic, right? Mr. Combs threatened to eat Mr. Jones's face. My bad. And informed Mr. Jones that he's willing to kill his mother, Janice Combs, if he must, in order to get what he wants, so he wouldn't think twice to harm Mr. Jones. That is quite the statement. Say, I will murk my mama. So what you think I'll do to you? Damn, bro. Damn. You know what I'm saying? Just to get what you want? How bad do you want this item? You want this item more than your mama? That's a very persuasive tactic to say, it's easy for me to do something that is 10 times worse. So how simple will it be for me to off you, which is, you know what I'm saying? Not as heavy. You understand what I'm trying to say? Whatever. Let me keep it going. 98. Around July 2nd. Oh, what a year. Around July 2nd, 2023 in California. Okay. Mr. Combs had a listening party at his home. All right. Present at the party was an R&B artist. The name is redacted. Justin Combs, sex workers, and some underage girls. The event began at 7 p.m. Mr. Combs requested female sex workers and notice how on this date, they're talking about the minors, but on the other date, it just mentioned the workers. It didn't mention any minors. Now, if you wanted, I feel like if you wanted to lie, you would include the minors in almost every situation. But now, if you're not lying, you don't have to, right? At 100, the event began at 7 p.m. Mr. Combs requested female sex workers and required Mr. Jones to solicit them. An hour later, several sex workers appeared. In addition to the sex workers, there were at least 5 women in the crowd that were under the age of 16. Damn. Mr. Combs forced all the women to drink laced de Leon liquor. Upon information and belief, Mr. Combs laced the liquor with ecstasy. Mr. Combs did not check the identification of any of these underage girls. The presence of these underage women made Mr. Jones very uncomfortable. I wonder how they know that they were underage. They just, because a lot of underage women, they don't look like underage. Sometimes they look like women. You know what I mean? So I wonder how he knew that they were underage. I'm just curious. He attempted to leave. I mean, that would mean that they had to have said that they were 15. Whatever. The presence of these underage women made Mr. Jones very uncomfortable, as it should. He attempted to leave. Mr. Combs forced him to stay. Mr. Combs went so far as to take Mr. Jones's car keys to prevent him from leaving. After being forced to drink laced de Leon shots, Mr. Jones began feeling lightheaded and recalls passing out and waking up at 4 a.m. the following morning naked with a sex worker sleeping next to him. This is horrible, man. This is horrible stuff. And then the screenshots from that night. Okay, screenshots with Mr. Combs with the underage female, Justin Combs with the underage female. That's what these legal documents are showing us. Okay. I'm at 109. It says, Mr. Jones believes that Mr. Combs was grooming him to pass him off to his friends. This fear became reality when Mr. Combs introduced Mr. Jones to Cuba Gooding Jr. while they were on Mr. Combs' yacht. During the, do I have to say this is all alleged? I guess I'm gonna say this is alleged, but this is the court documents. But in the court documents, he alleges, okay? Mr. Combs introduced Mr. Jones to Cuba Gooding Jr. while they were on Mr. Combs' yacht. During the introduction, Mr. Combs suggested that Cuba get to know Mr. Jones better. He then left them alone in a makeshift studio on the yacht. As evidenced by a video of which screenshots are embedded below. So he has video footage of this, right? But you're looking at the screenshot. You see Cuba Gooding Jr. began touching, groping, and fondling Mr. Jones's leg, his upper inner thighs, near his groin, the small of his back, near his buttocks, and his shoulders. So he's doing a whole lot of touching, okay? You're looking right. I'm looking at the picture. 114. I'm looking at the picture of Cuba Gooding Jr. all up in bro's face while he's trying to just do his work. He's looking at the laptop. He got the smile on his face like, yo, man, I'm just trying to work over here. And Cuba is looking like he's all up in his face. Okay. He rejected his advances, and Mr. Gooding Jr. did not stop until Mr. Jones forcibly pushed him away. Okay. The following is what's the sound effects that I'm hearing here? This is horrible. The following is a screenshot of the encounter with. Do you hear this? Do you hear that? This is crazy. This is what I got to deal with. He rejected his advances, and Mr. Jr. Let me see. I got it. Do you hear that? Mr. Jones was extreme. Oh my gosh. He rejected his advances, and Mr. Gooding Jr. did not stop until Mr. Jones forcibly pushed him away. The following is a screenshot of the encounter with Cuba Gooding Jr. So you're looking at the screenshot. That's him touching him, okay? This is crazy. This is what we got to deal with? I think I know what's happening. The car is picking up somebody else on the whatchamacallit. So let me just lower the volume here because this is ridiculous, okay? Look at that old lady smoking a spliff. All right, look. Throughout his time with Mr. Combs, Mr. Jones was under an implied work for hire agreement. He was not compensated for his time living with Mr. Combs or for the songs he produced. As evidence, he was listed as a producer for the following songs on the Love album: Deliver Me, Stay, Part 1, Reaching What's Love, Stay a While, Moments, a bunch of songs, right? And then he goes, this is off the Love album. He goes, Mr. Combs, Diddy, and the defendants, all the defendants mentioned, LR, MR, UMG, all benefited from Mr. Jones's work product, okay? They failed to compensate Mr. Jones for his work. As a result, Mr. Combs and defendants LR, MR, and UMG were all unjustly enriched at the expense of Mr. Jones. So they say everybody came up because this man had to do this, because he did what he did, they all had to come up, okay? Where we at over here? As a result, Mr. Combs and defendants, 121. Mr. Jones attempted to work with Mr. Combs to secure his publishing and royalty rights for the work he completed on the Love album. Puffy only offered Mr. Jones $29,000 for 13 months. Thousands of hours of work and 9 songs that made it to the Love album. Ironically, Mr. Jones was willing to take $50,000, his publishing and royalties. Mr. Combs' self-serving greed would not allow him to pay Mr. Jones an additional $21,000. Goodness gracious. All that work, and only $50,000, man. You know what I'm saying? That man could have worked he could have been a first-year teacher. You know what I'm saying? He could have worked like at Amazon or something like that. And not have dealt with all the trauma, psychological trauma, the emotional trauma. Mr. Combs' deceptive business practices became so bad that Mr. Jones was left with no choice other than to make a public plea on social media for Mr. Combs to pay him for his work. After publicly requesting that Mr. Combs do the right thing and pay him fairly, Mr. Jones received an onslaught of threatening messages from Stevie J and Love Records A&R DeForest Taylor. Okay. Now you could see the messages here. DeForest Taylor threatening Mr. Jones. It goes, "You playing?" He said, "I'm in the studio." Then he goes, "LOL, you 100% liar and weirdo. Good luck. Number's still the same. Run into Ninja. Come talk to me in public on a public podcast and forum." I don't know. Whatever. That's the threat. I didn't see a threat. Did we see? I didn't see a threat. Mr. Combs used his power and influence to threaten and intimidate Mr. Jones. All right, we almost done here. Relax. Are we almost done? Let me see. Oh gosh, there's a lot more. I think we got to look. We gotta have 2 parts to this video. Okay. So I gotta leave you off on a cliffhanger. All right. According to Mr. Jones, Mr. Combs is very forceful and demanding. Mr. Combs does not. I'm just reading the document. Mr. Combs does not take no for an answer and would often threaten to inflict bodily harm on Mr. Jones if Mr. Jones did not comply with his demands. Mr. Combs threatened to eat Mr. Jones's face. On another occasion, while standing in Mr. Combs's bedroom, Mr. Jones was forced to, I guess we'll stop right here, okay? At 1:27. We're gonna do the second part of this video, all right? The second part of this video. We're gonna continue where we left off. Hopefully, you can tune into the second part where we see Mr. Jones, Rodney Jones, standing in Puffy's bedroom and what he was forced to do. Okay. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below about what we're doing here. I actually have the Cassie document too. Let me know if you want us to read through the Cassie document as well. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Be sure to like the fact that we cover these videos. Be sure to subscribe. Thanks for tuning in to Celeb Source, your source for celeb news.